Our topic for this presentation is sex trafficking, demand reduction campaign. In order to stop sex trafficking, we must stop the demand. Our group members are Diana, Patricia H., Estella, Dalia, Kaylin, Susanna, Carlita, and Patricia W.
Our sources will be public health educators, and our external sources will be social media and online advertisements. Our message is to help stop the demand for sex purchasing. Our channels will be Facebook, display print, and online advertisements on Facebook and Backpage. Our receivers are Hispanic Latino males who live in San Diego County with an income of $76,000 and up, and males who have purchased and males who have never purchased sex. Policymakers and law enforcement. Our destination, our overall purpose is to lower the demand, which will eventually lower the supply.
The health behavior theory we will be using for our campaign is the social cognitive theory. With this theory, those who participate in the campaign will be able to use observational learning and modeling to participate. Using our Man Up campaign, we will be able to enforce these two habits and behaviors we want those who participate to learn. One is to spread the message to reduce or completely avoid participation in sex trafficking. And the second behavior is for them to avoid active participation in sex trafficking. We may be able to use successful and famous role models to be used as the ones to be observed and the ones to be able to model the behavior that we want to see in the participants. We can increase the self-efficacy of the participants because they will be watching others participate in the campaign as well. They would be able to take small steps in reaching the goal and behavior of the campaign, and we will be emphasizing on the social environment. If others can do it, then those who participate, if they can see others doing the behavior, doing the habit, they will be able to feel as if they can do it as well, which will increase self-efficacy.
Men can stop the demand and take action by saying no to sexism, sexual harassment, jokes or talks that diminish women, pornography, clubs or bars that exploit women, and especially buying sex from women and children.
We will also be using the health behavior theory. It's useful in large media campaigns. It uses a cue to action to influence self-efficacy for behavior change, such as the Man Up campaign. It allows the audience to take change into their own hands. It is created to help combat the failures of society to understand a need for intervention. The campaign will attempt to change the perception of sex purchasing.
For our health communication theory, we use the elaboration likelihood model. The use of both the central and peripheral routes will result in the greatest reach, as it will target both the involved and uninvolved audience. We are targeting the central route through our Facebook page, which will provide in-depth information directed towards those who are already invested in the issue. For example, this picture on top is directly pulled from our Facebook page, and it talks about ways to help fight sex trafficking. Furthermore, our page will also encourage our audience to take the pledge and man up, which was mentioned earlier. We will target the peripheral route through the use of pop-up ads on Craigslist. These will include quick facts about sex trafficking for those who are unaware of the issue. The campaign objectives that we are using for our messages through Facebook and Craigslist are advised and announced. Both of those will contain facts on sex trafficking as well as information on how to take part in stopping the demand. We're also using the objective activate through the Man Up campaign. This will persuade or motivate our target audience to take the pledge to avoid buying sex and encourage their peers to do the same.
Our objectives are, by June 2018, our campaign will have reached 30% of males ages 30 to 45 in the San Diego region to increase awareness about the consequences of human trafficking. And by June 2019, our campaign will have reduced 1 out of 4 sex ads in online websites like Backpage, which in turn will decrease the overall demand of sex purchases within the San Diego County.
For the audience segmentation, the program will target men who purchase sex and men who do not, but we'll focus more on men who do purchase sex, which their demographic will be Hispanic and Latino men with an income of 76,000 and above that live in San Diego County. And the secondary audience will be family and friends who can be an influence to these men and bring awareness to them on why purchasing sex is wrong. Also, law enforcement can punish them for their crime and have an impact to make them change their behavior. For men who do not purchase sex, we can target young men between the ages of 14 to 22 of all incomes that live in San Diego County and have a secondary audience such as family, friends, and community to influence these young men not to fall into purchasing sex, and these young men can set the example as well, persuade other men not to do it. For our persona, we have used Professor Chowdhury from San Diego State, who has a family and has decided to man up and take the pledge.
Social media that we'll be using for our campaign is Facebook. Through Facebook, we are going to target Latino Hispanic men who make $60,000 or above to not purchase sex on the site. We will also bring awareness of human trafficking in San Diego. We will encourage the website to be shared by our audience so the spread will continue. We will also be sharing pictures of men who have taken the pledge. According to a late 2014 Pew Research Center survey, the total U.S. Facebook users was about 73%.
So the next piece we'll be working on is a quick fact pop-up in Backpage. We plan to use a pop-up ad when the people first open up Backpage. It will include quick facts about trafficking and a link to our website. It would be the first thing men see before they purchase or before they do anything within the site. So why Backpage? Well, 71% of all suspected child sex trafficking cases have a link to Backpage. In addition, Backpage posts 1 million sex ads a day, and on top of that, 82% of ads posted within Backpage are sex related. In comparison to similar websites such as Craigslist, whose sex ads only make up 9% of the total advertisement. So by reaching out to the men within Backpage community, we plan to not only bring awareness about the issue, but also discourage men from purchasing women from this website, which will overall decrease the demand.
Hey bro, what's up? Hey dude, what's up?
I'm checking out some pics. See? Check this out.
Cool. That could be your daughter, man.
Through our campaign, we will raise awareness, which will influence others' behaviors around us.
The process evaluation will allow us to assess our SMART objectives through our campaign's activities and link our progress to impact and outcomes. To ensure that our sex trafficking communication campaign is working, we will partner with sex advertising online websites to create anti-trafficking advertisements that will counteract against sex ads. We will also use pop-ups on the Backpage website that will have "Did you know" facts about human trafficking, as well as our direct link to our Facebook page that will enable our target audiences to learn more about the dangers of human trafficking and how they can help to reduce the demand. To evaluate the impact of our campaign, we will use Likealizer to determine our page's engagement and reachability among our targeted audiences. With our Facebook page, we will monitor the reachability of our messages and also track the number of people that has been redirected to our online page through our pop-ups on Backpage. Finally, the outcome evaluation will allow us to document the behavioral outcomes of our campaign. By the end of the campaign, we will be able to determine if the number of sex ads has been reduced in Backpage and determine if the number of online sex purchases has decreased.
By taking an economic view of the problem of human trafficking, we can clearly identify a supply and demand cycle, the supply being the trafficked humans and the demand being the people who purchase them. The issue remains that human trafficking is modern-day slavery, a problem that must be addressed. And since the line between trafficking and prostitution is so gray, we took a more straightforward approach by targeting the men who buy sex and those in the contemplation stages of buying sex. We attempt to focus the stigma of purchasing people off the victims and put it on the purchasers. If there is no demand, then there is no need for a supply.